Hello, and welcome to Rock Your Block, where we provide outreach and highlight community impact. I'm your host, Larry Laws. On today's segment of First Home Alliance, we highlight a special organization that's been around for 100 years. Take a look at this short video.
My name is Julian Rozzell.
My name is Don Scoggins.
My name is Willie C. Barr.
My name is George Otterberry.
We are Paul W. Mitchell, American Legion.
Post 114.
Post 114.
Post 114.
Our special guest today served 13 years with the Virginia State Police Department, and after moving to Northern Virginia, worked over 27 years in federal government. He is a father of 2 children, adult children, Julian Jr. and Natalie. He's a military veteran. Most notable, he's my Conrad, a proud Legionnaire and historian of Paul W. Mitchell, American Legion Post 114 in Manassas, Virginia. Please welcome to our show, American Legion Post 114, Second Vice Commander, Julian A. Rozzell Sr. Thank you for coming in today.
Glad to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
All right, Conrad, I want you to let our audience know a little bit about you.
Okay. My name is Julian Rozzell Sr., that's like you said. I'm originally from Richmond, Virginia. In the year of 1981, I moved up to Northern Virginia, to Manassas, where I had the opportunity to work with the federal government for 27 years. Afterward, serving my time in Manassas, I eventually joined the American Legion Post 114. That was about 1990 when I joined the organization, and I have been serving in that organization since that time. I've served in various different support elements of the organization, as the American Legion member, as the treasurer, the adjutant, first vice, second vice, and commander over 3 times. Thus far, I'm still very active in the organization after my retirement. I'm more active than ever because I truly believe that it is my duty as a former military NCO who have served in the U.S. Army for 3 years back in 1966 to give back to the community, in particular my friends, the veterans, and their families.
Yes. And now, Julian, what are some of the things you did in the military?
During my duties in the military, I was 31E20, they called it, which is a field technician, which I did support our communication system. In addition, I had 1 year overseas tour, which was in Korea. Following my overseas duty, I did do military training of new officers or new soldiers that came into the military in the communication field.
Yes, and why did you choose communications?
It's a good question. I choose communication because my father, he used to run an auto mechanic shop. And they used to give us certain names of being mechanical people with dirty fingernails. So I decided to pursue a career that was cleaner. So I went into the field of electronics.
Now, why did you join the military?
I got drafted.
Oh, you did?
Yes. I was first drafted into service. But I re-upped for the additional year in order to get my military training in the field of electronics.
And what would you say to individual now, like, should I serve or shouldn't I? Was it a good experience?
Yes, it was a good experience. It was a very educational experience for me. Because during the time I lived in Richmond back in the 60s, our limitation, particularly as a black individual, was somewhat limited. And we didn't have as many opportunities perhaps as other people. And the military offered me a broader experience, broader outlook. It introduced me to a broader range of people and cultures and stuff. It ended up serving me extremely well and becoming more informative of our nation and our people and our culture and our way of life.
Yes. Now, with those skills that you had picked up and sharpened while you was in the military, how did that help you transition into civilian once you got out?
Okay. Immediately after I finished my military service, I had a technical background. I did not have a college background behind that, but I did have the basic tools that I needed in order to build up on those skills. So I did attend night school.
Okay.
And after numerous times of going to my night classes, I eventually pursued a job, which was the Virginia State Police Department in the field of electronics. That built on it more as I got more education in that field. And that led to me to my federal job, which also was in the field of electronics.
Okay.
Which I eventually retired.
Yeah, 27 years, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Now, so you had a civilian job. What inspired you about seeking American Legion?
What inspired me the most is that I like people. I've always liked people and support the needs of people that needed help. That's number one. Also, my fellow friends were former military people in the American Legion. So there was a connection there. There was a relationship there that I could connect to. The third thing is that there were situations I saw that many veterans was in need, in particular their family. So that I felt that was a social need and a social commitment for me to support the community in our nation.
Okay. Now, we know Post 114 is a unique post, and you actually had options during the time when you was looking for an American Legion post. Why did you choose Post 114?
I really didn't directly choose it per se. There was a former comrade, Paul W. Mitchell, who is now deceased. He was the one that really recruited me. He personally came to my house, knocked on the door, and I welcomed him in, and we had a long conversation, and he really encouraged me to join the organization. His concept of recruiting worked because I still there.
Yeah, okay. Yes. Well, what were some of the unique things about this post or him that actually say, okay, yes, I want to join that organization, that outfit?
The unique thing about Paul Mitchell, I felt that he was a serious man, a dedicated person, and he cared. He cared about preserving the post home, which is called Post 114. It was the only black post at that time that existed within the Manassas area. And it came into existence back in 1946. Okay. And it had an enormous, beautiful history of how it evolved via the support of 16 comrades who took the effort and took the initiative to create the post under a segregated situation. Because during that time, the American Legion were not integrated. So it took the individual effort of these 16 comrades, or World War I, which was 12 of them, and World War II, which was 4 of them, of the 16, to bring it into the existence. So I felt a connection there of the struggle that they went through and to establish the post. And with Paul Mitchell taking the lead, he was a person to easily follow towards his goal of preserving the post.
Yes, and I understand that he was a member, I guess, right after 1946 or so. After it was established, he's been a member up until his passing in 2008.
Right, 2008 he passed. Right, and he always believed in the post and his mission and his purpose. I do miss him even today.
Yes.
So I admire the effort that Paul Mitchell have done, and because of that, they did name the post on behalf of his name which is Paul W. Mitchell, Post 114.
Yes. Now, do you recall the name of the post before it was established in 1946 and 1945?
It did not have a name there during that time.
Okay.
It was not.
All right. Okay. And so I want to ask you about one of the charter members that I think that you know a little bit about. And so we're going to take a short break, and we're going to pick back up. We're about to take this break, but before we go, I would like to remind you that First Home Alliance is a HUD-approved housing counseling agency serving the National Capital Area. If you are a first-time home buyer or homeowner in need of a mortgage assistance, please visit the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development for a HUD-approved agency in your area. We'll be right back after the break. Stay tuned.
With First Home Alliance. A little bit about First Home Alliance. We are a HUD-approved housing counseling agency that was established in 2002 by our executive director, Larry Law. He established the nonprofit. He established it because his mother purchased her first home at the age of 65. And everyone was like, how did you do that? Because her income was really low. And so that's how he found out about the USDA program. And so through the USDA program, his mother was able to purchase her first home. It intrigued him to see how he could help individuals basically experience the American dream of home ownership. So he established the nonprofit. Mission is to increase home ownership to low to moderate income families. And so what does First Home Alliance do?
Welcome back. You're watching Rock Your Block. I'm your host, Larry Laws of First Home Alliance. And if you're just now tuning in, we're joined today with American Legion Post 2nd Vice Commander Julian A. Rozzell. Julian, before the break, we was talking about the charter members, and I know you want to tell us about one of the members that you actually had an opportunity to meet. And so let's hear more about the charter members.
Okay. The charter members are the original Conrads, primarily World War I and World War II Conrad, who actually established Post 114 in the City of Manassas. Mm-hmm. This was during the period of segregation.
Okay.
So it was very difficult for black soldiers to establish any kind of organization that was veteran supported, in particular the American Legion Post 114. That was not existing during that time until those members got together in 1945, petitioned the National Department of the American Legion requesting to become a veteran organization. They did issue them a charter, what they called the Colored Post 114 of Manassas at that time. Normally, charters are issued by the department level. Back later in 1946, the Department of the American Legion in Virginia did issue a charter to the post, which became American Legion Post 114. Post members, or the charter members at that time, came from all over from the Virginia area, Culpeper. They came from places like the Nooksville, Stafford, and other surrounding areas. So that kind of evolved over time with their support. The one I remember the most within the organization, and that I kind of met the last living charter member, which he died in 2008, was Samuel Davis Jr. Okay. He was up in age at that time, but his family used to bring him to the post meetings, and we were always welcome to have him to attend the meetings. And also, when we have our annual charter dinner event, which is time we recognize those fallen comrades, Samuel Davis will attend the event, and naturally we will praise him for his presence. So over the years, we continue annually or yearly to have our charter dinner event.
Okay. Well, that is really nice, to remember those guys that are, basically have paved the way.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, what are some of those things that Post 114, basically, as other American Legion posts, what are they involved in, basically traditionally? What do they do?
The Post 114 have always put a mission or focus in supporting our veterans and the family. We do this by caring about them.
Okay.
For one thing, when any of our comrades has fallen, we will definitely attend the funeral services.
Okay.
And give our comments about the passing of our comrade and how they serve the nation.
Okay.
We on Memorial Day, which is the day of recognizing the passing of comrades, and Veterans Day, recognize our veterans who's serving. We will participate in fundraising that reflects those two holidays.
Okay.
By having a poppy campaign, which we set up displays and all, and to support that effort. In addition, we will go to various funeral sites like Rozzell Cemetery,
Okay.
and spend time visiting our deceased comrades and plant flowers at the grave sites in a show of respect.
Okay.
We will visit families who may have experiencing some difficulties with their former veterans associated with the post, and just express our support that we are beside them and helping them. So we have always been sensitive about the needs of our veterans who are members of the American Legion Post 114.
Yes. What would be a recruiting message that you would give for maybe veterans who are active duty actually serving, or those that have served that may be looking for a post home? What would be a recruiting message to encourage for others to join your post?
The most prominent recruiting message I would say, if I would go reflect how I felt, is that you spend time in your life working your job, raising your family, doing things day to day that is kind of self-centered and to your own interests at that time. But everyone should at least spend time thinking about others, in particular when you are a veteran. Veterans, as you know, if you're a veteran, have gone through some unique experiences through life and sometimes after life. And when I mean after life, after military service. And that getting together to support one another, create a healthy environment for friends and family and children to develop in. That's number one. The second thing is that you know that you're doing something that will leave a legacy on your life of having a positive impact on your society, on your community, and for your family. So I kind of see that it is very important to extend your lifestyle beyond just yourself, but put towards others and supporting them.
Okay. Yeah, Julian, I appreciate you sharing that. And I think I have a video of you and some of the other comrades that I would like to share with our audience. And so please take a moment to look at this short video, and we'll be right back.
This post, when it was originated, was the central meeting place for all blacks in this community. This was a gathering. There's pictures and history where they used to have dances, wedding every Saturday night. This place on the weekend, it was packed. This was the central community for all people to disseminate, especially blacks, to disseminate the information they needed to move forward.
Post 114 represent the aspiration, the determination of veteran members who even though they were facing a lot of discrimination, unfair treatment, and all, they overcome an obstacle that would probably have caused most people to walk away of establishing such an organization. But these 16 veterans does represent to us the ability to achieve great things. And over the many years since the American Legion Post have existed, it reaffirmed to me the importance of being a community supporter for our veterans and for their community.
I would like to see more young veterans join American Legion Post 114 is because of the fact we're small. I think you will get a better sense of some of the leadership opportunities that are available. Instead of being just a number, you can be an integral part of the post.
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that short video to see some of our other comrades. And with that, we're leaving from the section of sharing what has happened in the past. We'll share it with what's in the present, but now we want to talk about our future, the future of that post. Right now, the physical structure, the building, can you give us an idea what that structure is, what the state of that structure right now?
The post itself has been in existence since 1946. It's made out of cinder block, the old style of construction wood, the roof and all. Very little installation because during that time, back in 46, there was not much installation done, and a very old piping and lighting system. So it's kind of dilapidated,
Okay.
in a way.
Yeah.
So an effort has been made. We're trying to construct a brand new post.
Okay.
So we're currently working on a program with other nonprofit organizations towards getting grants to support our initiative to replace the post to a new post. But in addition, we're expanding beyond that. We're also going to have in conjunction with that a housing development initiative that could be linked to the post and supporting our veterans to provide them homes where they can live in.
Great.
We have a big vision, a big initiative that we're trying to work towards and making a better post facility. And we look at this as our new future post in support of our veterans.
All right. And Conrad, and we're wrapping up right now, what message would you say from the past that you would like to bring forward and share with our future of the post?
The message I would like to bring is to our veterans of today. Our veterans of today is really a different generation of veterans when I grew up. I was drafted when I came into service. Veterans of today volunteer.
Yes.
However, the needs are still the same. We still need to support our current veterans by becoming a community to support one another. You can do this in supporting Post 114 and to develop a new facility that reflects our today's veteran. And if you join us and become part of our organization, you can become part of our initiative in developing a new post home.
Okay.
And facility.
All right. Well, thank you, Julian, for sharing that with us. And again, thank you for taking the time out of your day to join us. And it's been really a pleasure having you on the show today.
Thank you so much. I enjoyed it.
All right, Julian. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed this interview today with 2nd Vice Commander Julian A. Rozzell. To find out more about Paul W. Mitchell, American Legion Post 114, visit their website, like and follow Post 114 on Facebook fan page. I am Larry Laws of First Home Alliance, and it has been my pleasure sharing with you our mission and highlighting community impact. If you have questions about financial fitness or how we can help you make your dream of homeownership a success, send your question to our inbox and tune in to our next show to see if your question was selected to be shared with our audience. You can easily get more information about our services by visiting us on the web at firsthomealliance.org. Thank you for watching today's segment of First Home Alliance, and join us next time to rock your block.
Glad to know that, you know, some of this stuff about, like, I don't know, credit and buying houses is like written down somewhere. A lot of the times it's always hearsay, like other friends or family members who have bought houses before, but they can never, you know, tell you legit what you need to get done and do before buying a house.
I definitely think this class should be required for all first home buyers because a lot of times the real estate agent doesn't explain the process to you. So I think this is very important.
It's from the credit up to receiving a loan, and the most important thing is the process that you go through when you're buying the house, and there are a lot of process which you don't have idea about that before you take this class.
Speakers who came up and spoke about each section, they were very knowledgeable in their field, and I felt like it was relatable. They didn't just throw out a whole bunch of terms that went over my head, but they really explained it in a way to where I understood it, and I could even explain it to my children, and it was even easier for me to take home and kind of remember and process and apply to my next steps. The process was amazing.
They start first with the class before even finding a lender or agent. So I did all that and I wasn't able to purchase, and then I was like, oh, you know what, there's a lot of information I'm not aware of. Let me just start from the beginning, to put everything on hold. Start from
piecing the information together, because you've heard things about the loans and about this and about the credit, but this is like a summary, and it just gives a clear flow of where to go with what you have and kind of building up a plan. So that kind of gives me a whole picture of where I needed to go and how to get there.